There's a fresh story, come and see. With Olivia and Jenny, be who you need to be. Honest voices, safe and strong. Come as you are, you belong. So take a breath, let's begin. You're not alone, we're here again.
You want to start?
Welcome to the May 30th version of the weekly wrap-up with Olivia and Jenny.
Been doing this for over a month now.
I love it.
Me too. It's fun.
I love it. I look forward to it.
Me too.
And you know what I did today? I thought about
Prepared.
my answers ahead of time. Yeah. I'll
You know
still
what?
be surprised when you ask me.
It's fun because it gives us a little journal too of what we did that week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And we do get some listens. People do care.
Vivi listens.
Yeah. Shout out to Vivi.
And Dara.
And Dara. Well, it's right. I'm going to start that one again. Well, it's Friday.
Thomas would say, easy for you to say.
Frog in my throat. It's Friday. Why don't you start with how was your week? What's going on? You had some.
Well, those are my pain points. Should I save that?
Yeah, I guess save that.
I guess the question is what's going on? Hey, Olivia, why don't you tell me something I don't know?
Before we start that, we have an update on our podcast stuff because
we do have an update.
Yeah. So we are officially winners of the Quill Podcast Award for Jenny Says So. So
Best creative branded podcast.
And that meant a lot to us for many reasons. One is that I produce that show and Jenny hosts it. So we felt like we both won, which is very exciting. She is a award-winning podcast host and I'm an award-winning producer, which is very exciting. I've always wanted to be that.
I never saw that on our docket, so I love it.
And I got to go update our bios. And
Olivia wrote 40,000 bios this week.
I did write a lot of bios this week. But so anyway, that was exciting to get that news. Yeah. They said it was going to be out on the 27th, and so Monday was a day off from school because it was Memorial Day, and so literally from the moment I woke up on the 27th, I didn't tell Jenny this, but I was refreshing the Quill page over and over again. And finally, it said winners are announced, and I got to call Jenny and tell her. So that was very exciting.
I was a little worried because it was 10 minutes before one of our community events, and I was like, "Why is she calling?" The last time you called me before a community event was not good news. So I was like, "Why is she calling me?" And then you got to tell me, and it was very exciting. And Thomas and I have to figure out a way to celebrate.
I know
weekend.
We're gonna have to celebrate. I think I might get a massage to celebrate.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I have to schedule it too.
Yeah. So that was very exciting to win something this week and Jenny.
And again, most podcast awards are pay to play. I think even the Webbies are, by the way.
This was judged by, it said they had thousands of entries and it was thousands and there was a panel and they really liked your podcast.
Yeah, it was thousands of entries down to top 5 voting process. Those top 3 from the voting process got into a panelist process, and then the panelist judge. It's a lot of vetting. Yeah, a lot of people had to think that we were doing a great job.
And that podcast is wonderful. If you haven't listened, go check out Jenny Says So. The episodes are quick. They're fun. They're like Frasier episodes, but with Jenny. And we have one more to go for the season.
Frasier. I mean, I know we say you're Roz, but I think that makes Colin
Niles, somebody Niles.
Colin is Niles, I think. Colin has
and then
always
Bridget's Daphne. That kind of makes sense.
Bridget, that does make sense actually. And then I feel like Tess is the dad.
Yeah,
she's
the dog. I mean, in a good way.
Beloved dog.
Eddie was Eddie, right?
Eddie, yep. Eddie, we love Eddie.
So that was exciting news this week. Yeah.
Now, Olivia, will you tell me something I didn't know until this morning?
Okay, so
until about an hour ago.
Let me preface this by saying we are in the process of we have 4 years plus of blog posts and
we
articles.
talked about this last week.
I know, but I'm just reiterating for people, for Dara.
I'm
reiterating.
Recognizing that our audience stays with us. I want them to know that we know that they listened last week.
You were so worried about people.
I would feel disrespected as an audience
I'm not
member.
disrespecting anybody. For anybody that didn't listen, I want to back up for a second.
You're reintroducing the topic.
Right, because it's like a story. So we have all these blog posts that we've written since probably since before we launched Fresh Starts.
Yeah.
On all different divorce topics from our perspective of research and lay person's language, so everybody can understand what divorce and all the legal stuff is. And we are in the process of creating a 7-book series called the Divorce Guidebook series.
2 books in, baby.
We're 2 books in. We have 2 books out. They're both free ebooks and free PDFs on the website, and you can also buy the printed copy for $11.97 on Amazon
and bookshop.
And bookshop. Well, it's not there yet. I checked this morning.
Okay, well,
but it should be on indie places. Should pick it up eventually.
Bookshop.org, and then any indie place can pick it up, and Barnes and Noble, things like that.
Yeah, and then we have 5 more to go. I'm currently working on one, which we'll get back to. That's not the point. So we're working on writing all these divorce books. I've talked to hundreds of people about divorce. And then I realized the other day I am a certified life and success coach and clinical hypnotherapist and EFT specialist, which I did all that with Julie Costa's Anchored program 2 years ago, which was an amazing, really, really, really difficult program. And I succeeded. And then I was like, but I'm not anything divorce specific. And so I had this little spark while I was meditating about a couple weeks ago that maybe I should become a certified divorce coach.
Yes.
Not that I have no interest in divorce coaching. That is not the point of this. But as somebody that writes about divorce and supports people in finding divorce expert and and talks to the press about divorce, I was like, maybe I should do this. But I didn't want to say anything because I thought it was ridiculous because we're working on so many things, like not like ridiculous time wise, like. Because you know me, when I get an idea in my head, I can't drop it. And so it wasn't going to be like if I said to you or somebody, like, I'm thinking about becoming certified as a divorce coach, I felt like you would have said, like, we're in the middle of like a lot of stuff. The kids are going to be home for summer. There's like a lot of, we're writing 7 books. Maybe you want to wait till the fall. And then I would have said, no, I want to do this now. And then I would have like cried. Right. So I just didn't say anything.
But probably the next breath I would have said, depends on your capacity. How long is it?
Right.
Like, because it's up to you ultimately. Like, I don't dictate your life.
But you also know how much we're doing. You know my capacity for things. So I just decided to not tell you, which I never do with anything.
I don't know if I know your capacity for things, to be honest with you.
Well, apparently not now. So, and so I did some research, and there are some there's not that many divorce coach programs out there, I will say. Some are very, very expensive. Those are more for the there's like a high conflict divorce coaching program, which is like $6,000. That's more like an.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, that's more like Anchored. Like that's more like.
Right.
Like,
I think that there's like it's almost like once you get a certification in a coaching,
right,
you can get like different pieces of that coaching. And I think that the other ones that you looked at were that big coaching piece.
Right.
I
didn't really need that. Right. Because I've had amazing training by Julie.
Right.
So I did find a program that was affordable, and it said it was 4 to 6 weeks. It was self-paced, which is what I needed because then I could just do it on my downtime. So I kind of just dove into it, and it was to become a certified divorce coach. And as I'm reading through the program, I'm like, this is all the stuff I learned. Like whether they really covered a lot of marketing and business planning, but then like things I learned in Anchored, like how to hold space, what active listening is, SMART goals, things like that. And so it was a self-paced 6-week it was 6 modules, and it was like a lot of reading, but I read fast, and I went through this and I kind of would read at night, and I could read on my phone. So anytime in the last couple of weeks that I had some time, I would just sit in the car and read.
Lying to your sister the whole
time. And I didn't want to say anything because what if I failed? I didn't want to.
Who cares? Like,
I would care.
Okay, back up. What have you ever failed at?
I don't know.
Your
Nothing.
road test, both of us.
Yeah, my road test. But
that's it.
I didn't know what the course would be like. Once I saw it was stuff that I knew, I breezed through it, and I took the final exam, and I waited. I didn't want to say anything, and I was going to tell you live on the podcast, but then I thought that was like a lot of emotion.
I think the only part of that upsets me is that you think that I would have responded poorly to
I don't think you would have responded poorly. I think you would have been realistic, and then I would have been like, no, I need to do this now because it's in my head. And so, like, I'm stubborn.
That does sound like
yeah. And so I got a 98 on the exam, and I am now a certified divorce coach, which I'm not going to do divorce coach at all. We have amazing divorce coaches at Fresh Start.
No, yeah.
But I do think it's important
there's a responsibility thing for what you're doing.
Right.
Of getting the
knowledge. Which is why the same reason I got my life coaching, certificate is I hold space for people. So that was my like, I just sprung that on you this morning. Hey, I'm a
You
certified
did,
divorce
yeah.
coach now. Yeah. Hey, I gotta add
Congratulations.
that to my bio now. I got a lot of bios.
I know, exactly. You must have been, like, giggling when I was, like, you were, like, rewriting all the bios, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I feel good about that because I think that, when you write about divorce a lot and when you talk about divorce a lot, you do need to know how, a lot of the stuff, works in terms of that.
Again, an ethical responsibility that you
Right.
have, and I think that we've always been concerned
And
about
I will
ethical
say, and I'm going to
responsibilities.
give a major shout out, and we'll tag her, but Julie's program, Anchored, set me up. I mean, when I say I breezed through this program, there was parts of it I barely had to read because it was things
Right.
that she taught. I mean, her program is as close to probably as like a therapy or graduate program.
It's a 6-month program, is
That
it
was
not?
that was a long,
Yeah, like,
long,
so, like, you've
yeah.
done that, and now then you had to go get, like, a little, like,
Well,
certification in, like, this other element of it,
I
but,
mean,
like,
and,
you
like,
learned how to, like, life coach
yeah,
as
and, like,
well.
and to be fair, like, in Julie's program, that was you were monitored while coaching other people. I mean, that's
Right.
as close to, like, a therapy, life coaching type of
Yeah.
program. Like, we had to submit ourselves coaching, we had to write
Yeah,
things.
no, you've really that was the
Right,
whole
so
thing.
that
You scheduled that intentionally so that
Mhm.
I would be home
Right.
waiting for my visa to come through, so that because you knew that, like, we would, like, I would be help with the kids because it was such a commitment.
Yeah, and I waited to become a life coach, so I met Julie, like, years ago, probably almost 8 years ago at this point, and she had just had the inkling to start this program, and I knew I wanted to become a life coach, but I
Right.
didn't want a lot of these programs do what this divorce coach program did, which is to teach you the business plan and the marketing and the strategy. I know all of that. Like,
Yeah,
I've
you don't
run
need that. You don't
Right,
wanna
and
spend
so
money on that.
Julie's program is 6 certifications, and was 6 months, and it is like, and really intense. I mean, I was studying, I was, like, working, like,
Yeah.
that was really hard, but not she doesn't beyond, like, the intake form and stuff like that, she doesn't go into, like, how to market yourself, whatever,
Right,
and she
right.
also offers, like, a ton, and now she offers a master prac, one, and she's also offering, I saw, a quicker version of Anchor that's more, like,
Is it less
uh
certifications?
no, it's the same one, but it's, like, a more intense.
Oh, intensive.
Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Got it.
so
So
I
it's
would say right.
not condensed. It's intensive, so it's like
It's an intensive, right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you're interested in becoming a life
Like
coach, yeah. I'm a certified life coach, success coach, clinical hypnotherapist, neuro-linguistic practitioner, EFT specialist, and
say
time techniques.
hypnotherapist?
Hypnotherapist, yeah.
Yeah.
And I use all of it. It's wonderful. So
Yeah.
I highly recommend that if you're thinking about. And also, I would say her program, compared to some of the other life coaching programs, is affordable. And
She's also been talking about the grift of life coaching
yeah,
on Threads. Like, I've been seeing
yeah,
Julie
yeah,
talk about that right now. Yeah.
yeah. And I've
Which
worked
don't
with
even
her
get us into
as a
that.
client, but
The way that coaching has become a multi-level marketing scheme, but
so now I am
whatever.
both a life, success, divorce, and hypnotherapist coach. Well, not coach, but hypnotherapist. So
Yeah, you got to figure out that
yeah,
title.
we'll work on that one. So that was my exciting news of the week.
That is very exciting. I'm very
Thank you.
proud of you.
Thank
I'm very
you.
proud of you, and sad that you felt you need
It
to.
wasn't a sad. It was like almost exciting. It was like,
Okay.
and
You
now I'm
like
like,
having
ooh, what can
Okay,
I learn
Think
next?
about this. What other, like, can't think, well, I guess I would know what other secrets you've had for me, but I can't think of other secrets that you've had for me except for your bad marriage.
That was just a little thing. No, I don't really. I'm not a secret keeper.
No, we're not secret keepers.
And this was
From
more of
each
like an
other.
exciting, like almost like a
Yeah.
gift. It was a
not
gift to you.
What do they say? Not a secret, a surprise.
Right. It was a surprise.
That's what they say in families. We don't keep secrets in this family. We have surprises.
Right. So that was exciting, and we worked a lot. We didn't have a ton of recordings this
It's an
week. So
admin week.
yeah,
Yeah.
we worked a lot on back end stuff, and we got a episode up of A Fresh Story with Chloe Sexton,
Mhm.
who you may know from TikTok as the Big Cookie Woman. And we had
Always giant cookies.
Chloe's Giant Cookies. Yep, we had a great conversation with her about how her mom got sick. She adopted her little sister. She met her husband. She started this cookie company on TikTok. It's a really beautiful conversation about how we grieve and family, and really interesting. She's just a fantastic person to talk to.
Yeah, I
So
really like talking to her.
that's one episode below here, and you can go listen to that this weekend. What else is going on?
I don't know.
I want to stop saying We gotta stop.
Sorry.
No, it's not you. It's me. I
What
don't
else
like
is
to edit
going
it.
on? I don't know. We could jump right into pain points and
Okay,
celebrations.
so what was your pain point this week?
Our washing machine has been broken since probably it was installed April 2024. I think I remember it being quiet the first time we did a load of laundry. And then the second time, Thomas and I were like, that was weird. Why is it so loud? And it's just gotten increasingly worse. And we've been telling our landlord since, I don't know, May 2024. And we've been begging him to send a plumber out to look at that and a bunch of other stuff. He finally sent the plumber out a couple weeks ago. And the plumber, I was like making dinner in the kitchen, which is a very small kitchen, and the plumber was in there. And he was fixing the sink and he put the washing machine on empty. And he's like, oh, it's not making any sounds. Like, you're overfilling it. And I walked into the kitchen to the bedroom Thomas, and I was like, he's saying that I'm overfilling the machine. And by the way, I'm not the only one that does laundry in our house. Actually, Thomas is the one that loads the machine when laundry is done in the house. Unless he's at work, but he loads it. He collects laundry, loads it, takes it out of the laundry. I hang it. Like, that's our division of labor. And I said to Thomas, he's saying that we overload the machine. And Thomas walked into the kitchen and he was like, no, we don't overload the machine. Here, let me put some clothes in it so that you can see. Because, like, you can't test a machine when it's empty.
Right.
And it started making the noise, very loud noise on the spin cycle with stuff in it. And the guy was like, oh, yeah, you're right. There's a suspension broken or the weight's broken in the back. Something's going on. And later, Thomas was like, I wasn't going to let him gaslight my wife, which I loved.
Yeah.
And so then the plumber calls the landlord. The landlord calls Samsung, who's the
Sounds like a
from.
folk song.
It really is.
Landlord.
And so then the landlord said, and there's a warranty on the machine. The landlord said, they need to do a video call, which, like, some people are like, well, why did the landlord not do it? And it's like, well, he probably should have, but also, like,
Right.
I don't really want this guy in my apartment on, like, a Tuesday night. Like,
No,
just
filming
like,
in an apartment.
yeah, just like talking to
Yeah.
the washing machine. And so Thomas did it, and then I ended up taking it over because it was so frustrating. The first thing they did was scold Thomas for not reporting it sooner. And he's like, I've been telling the landlord for a year. Like, what help is that, by the way? Oh, well, why didn't you call us sooner? Well, it's still under warranty, so who fucking cares?
Yeah.
And so we were on the phone for an hour and 45 minutes with them. But it's just I mean, they make it intentionally impossible, right? So the people that can really make decisions are only there till 5 o'clock. When most people work from 9 to 5. And so they were like, well, we need you to record a cycle of with clothes in it and without clothes in it so that we can watch it. So I do that, and it's insane. The video is insane. Like, it's shaking. It looks like Jurassic Park. And I email it to them, and they go, oh, we can't access these links because it's Dropbox links. They said, we can't access these. We need MP4 videos, which is iOS makes .movs.
Right.
I have to convert them. Then I have to condense them so that I can attach them because they won't accept them unless they're attached. And so I finally do that. And then I go to call them, and they're like, you're not authorized to speak to us about this machine. It's a washing machine. I don't know who is calling to talk about washing machines. So then I have to email my landlord or text my landlord and be like, can you authorize me? And so he texts us back. He goes, yeah, he hadn't authorized me because he had Thomas's number and he had my US number, but not my UK number, and they wouldn't take a US number. And then he goes, but I could only authorize one person at a time because there can only be 2 people authorized. So it has to be me and one of you. What is going on, Samsung? Why can 3 people not be on a warranty?
A lot of privacy for a washing machine.
Right, because what they're hoping is that we'll hang up and go pay for somebody to come fix the machine, and that they won't have to send somebody out for free and eat that cost.
Right.
And so finally, I got them to send somebody out. But it's like, it's just so frustrating because here's the thing. I think that most landlords assume that people rent because we can't afford to buy houses.
Right.
And that is miscomprehension, misunderstanding. I rent because I don't want to own a house right now.
Right.
I don't want that responsibility. I don't want that commitment to a place. I'm not ready. I just moved to this country 2 years ago. It's not because I can't afford a house. part of the agreement between landlord and tenant is that there are things that I don't have to do because I am not the property owner. There are things that I am not responsible for. I've outsourced it for a reason, and the reason is I don't want to be responsible for it. So
Right.
I find it a little obnoxious that I have to handle these things as if I was a property owner, because I also don't have full access. And that's very, very frustrating to me.
Right.
So, and I think the disturbing thing is, like, he's not the worst landlord we've ever had. He's just a goofball, you know? And he put carpet in the kitchen. We have carpet on our kitchen floor. So one of the things they asked us to do was that they tried to suggest that the filter in our washing machine was blocked. Did you know that washing machines have filters? Because I didn't know that. But that the filter was blocked and that's what was making the noise. And we were like, that's not what's making the noise. So they asked us to open this little hatch, not telling us that the hatch may release water. And so there was water all over the carpet. And we weren't provided with, I don't know, like industrial fans or anything to dry the carpet in the kitchen. Luckily, I have fans, but which is not a usual thing to really own in this country because it doesn't really get that hot here.
Right.
So, yeah, that was my pain of the week, was just
That's
dealing with that.
Yeah, it's a lot of pain.
It is frustrating, and Thomas is frustrated by it, and, you know, he's coming home from work and dealing with it, and it's like, that's why we rent, so that we don't have to be dealing with that stuff. And now you're forcing it upon us. And again, by the way, it was so hard to get him to send a plumber to even change the faucets or change the flush in the toilet or look at the washing machine. There was no way he was going to come over to talk to Samsung on a video call. But also, you have this trade-off of, do I want this guy in my apartment on a Tuesday night and, you know, for 2 hours sitting in the kitchen on the floor?
Yeah.
It's just impossible. So that was my pain of the week. What was your pain of the week? Panic of the week. That's what we call it.
Yeah, panic of the week. I don't know, just like regular admin stuff, like making sure. I just spent literally all morning preparing our calendars for the summer. Realized that my younger son doesn't have a lot to do for the month of June and most of July. I literally put like all the camp dates in my Google Calendar, and then I make a calendar for our parents, for the fridge.
They can be your parents.
That's fine. And so it just took me like an hour to go back and forth. And then I always panic that I didn't sign the kids up for the things that I said I was going to. So then I'm looking back in my emails, trying to find that. So, you know, I got that done.
Good job.
And then I just was waiting to see if I could graduate at this program. So that was my panic. But other than that, what was your win for this week, your celebration?
I bought a really great bathing suit.
Oh, you did? Tell us about it.
I mean, besides the podcast award, which we've already talked about.
Whatever.
Yeah. So I have often gone through periods where I like to swim laps. And I've done it when I lived on Long Island. I did it when I lived in Queens. And I think I'm coming up on that cycle again. So I needed a new bathing suit. I needed something that was good for swimming laps in. So it's funny, I had my lap bathing suit that I used to use, and it was really uncomfortable, and it was really hard to get in and out of. It was a Speedo. And I realized, I put it on today, and I was like, I'm just going to get rid of this because I don't enjoy it. And also, when your bathing suit is wet, the last thing you want is something that is hard to get in and out of. So I bought a bathing suit from Primark, which was £7, and it's very cute and it feels great. I washed it yesterday. I put it on today, and I just was like, I felt so good in it. So that was awesome. I bought a bra from Primark too, and the shirt that I'm wearing as well. This is just a little t-shirt. So yeah, that was my sort of celebration. And I also got like a nice little like towel. I'm trying to do things in a way, you know, I think the last time I went to the pool, which was when I lived in Queens, it was very like, I don't know, there was like a practicality that was devoid of joy. Didn't feel like me. I would like throw on clothes. Like I had these slides that were just kind of like, I bought at like Old Navy and didn't really like them. And now I'm like, if I'm going to do this, I want to feel good. I want to have sandals that, you know, pool shoes that feel nice, and goggles. I have to get goggles, and I'm going to get like wireless headphones that I can like listen to music underwater. And
that's cool.
All of these things where I'm just like, I don't, it's funny to think about, because I remember like going to the pool then and being like, I hate what I look like. not in like a body kind of way. Like I hate what I'm wearing,
Mm.
or I like feeling like I just was kind of wearing things because they were there,
Right,
or
right.
because they were warm, and also swimming in New York in like February is horrible. It doesn't get that cold here, which is nice. But I'm very excited I feel good. And so I bought some sandals. I'm going to return them because they don't feel like me. And I'm going to go back and, Primark has like Birkenstock style sandals, but they're the foam. I think I'm going to get a pair of those, light pink. So I'm just trying to create, I think in May to June of 2021, right before I left my ex, I was really struggling to find to sort of hone in on my personal style. And I think since then, I've gotten much more comfortable in my body and in my clothes. And now I can identify sort of like what the look that I want to have is. And it's important to me. It's important to me to feel good. And so this bathing suit it feels good. And I'm excited to sort of like almost create a little capsule wardrobe.
Yeah, that's great.
So
You have to feel good to do that. Yeah.
So that's what's going on with me. Now I'm wondering how fast it's going to take the bathing suit to dry. I guess I should get something else. I should have two, right? In case I want to
'cause
go
you don't
2
have a
days in a row.
dryer, right?
Yeah. Okay. Well, those are my thoughts.
Probably overnight of bathing suit.
I don't know. I guess it
You could
depends.
test it.
I mean, for £7, I
Why
can
don't you
afford
put
to
it
buy
in
another
the
one.
sink and see how long it takes to
Well, I
dry?
washed it yesterday, and it was dry today, but I also had the heat on in that room. It depends on what time. I'm gonna get another one, but for £7, I can afford a second bathing suit. So they had them at Little too for £7. You know,
So funny.
buy all my clothes at Little these days. Anyway, my husband just left for the grocery store. What was your celebration or highlight?
What was my sub? Well, obviously winning the award was very exciting, and becoming a certified divorce coach. I feel like we've been doing so much. May was really it was a big month for us. I am really loving working on this third book in our series, which is How to Get Divorced as a Stay-at-Home Parent, which is, I'm going to just say, going to become the Bible for some people, because the things that we're telling people and supporting people with in that book, nobody else is. The scripts, the templates, the language, the information. I'm just so excited to get this into the world.
It's
and that's
amazing.
honestly one of the reasons I wanted to do the divorce coach thing too, is because I want to pitch this out to publications. This is huge. And then I'm excited to continue working on those. We have a couple friends doing some really cool things. So Leslie Gray Streeter's new book comes out on June 1st. I literally I thought I'd bought it, but I didn't. So I literally, as we're talking, just bought my copy. So I'm excited to read that. She was on an episode of A Fresh Story talking about the book, and it's a novel. So that will be fun. And our friend Matt Gilhooly put out a new podcast, which is so lovely. It's once a week on Wednesdays. It's like 3 minutes long, and it's called It's Okay If, and it's like permission slips for mental health.
Yeah.
And it's just so sweet, and he's
the
wonderful.
best.
So go listen to It's Okay If. It literally is 3-minute episodes. You guys can handle that once a week. So that was exciting to see our friends doing some cool stuff. And honestly, like, we have some friends who are like pregnant, and like, I don't know, just it's exciting to like see people's lives do beautiful things and
get to love them and support them through all of the things.
I mean, like, even like we had some friends going through hard stuff this week, and just to be able to be there is really great. I'm very happy. And I got some really beautiful messages from women who made divorce registries this week, and we're so grateful that support system was there. I mean, really wonderful. So it's all in all, things are chugging along.
Yeah,
as they
lots
should.
of website refresh I'm doing over here.
Yep. We're keeping busy. And okay, so what is your weekly wisdom this week?
I've been thinking a lot about just being able to identify when you've reached the wrong room, when you're in the wrong place. I tweeted this thing about how I used to ask my ex for a cuddle, and he would, I think he was intentionally doing it. He would like very awkwardly put his arm around me and pat me and then go, "How long do I have to do this for?" And I just want you to know that if you are in a relationship like that and it doesn't feel right and it doesn't feel good, and they're not mad or mean or cruel or anything like that, but it's just like you're not getting what you need, and you've tried and you've tried and you've tried to communicate, and you've gone to therapy and you've done the work, and it's still not working, you can go find better. You can go find the right person for you. You can go find a person that asks you to reset the alarm so that they can snuggle you for longer. That does exist out there, and you can go find it, and it's worth it. And it's okay. That doesn't make them a bad person. It just means that you're not in the right relationship. So that's my wisdom.
I love that. I love that. Your love story always inspires me to keep hope open and alive.
I like to hear that. He's a very special person, my husband. But I also believe that there's a very special person out there for most people.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
know?
just have to find them. We're just on the
they
hunt.
might be in Scotland.
They're on the hunt. My weekly wisdom is, I hate to say this, but things like journaling and meditation have been really lovely. And so it's been nice. I actually didn't this morning. I'm going to try to do it before the kids come home.
You said you woke up late.
I woke up. I've been trying to set my alarm clock for 5:50 and then for 6. And so then I get up at 6 and then it's like my morning ritual. I make my bed. I do my meditation. I lift my weights, but it's quiet. The kids are still asleep. And then this morning, I must have turned my alarm off and I woke up at 6:40. And so I didn't get a chance to do anything. Thankfully, it was a pizza
you must
day.
Have needed
Friday.
Sleep.
I guess so. So, but I've been doing, my manifestations every morning. I would say 5 days of the week. I don't always do them on the weekends. And then I've also been really enjoying writing my dreams down because that's something I never used to do. And it's kind of nice, like, to just not like worry, like, am I going to forget this dream? Like, as silly as that sounds.
I've already forgotten the dream. That's the problem. I woke up this morning. I meant to tell you this. Woke up this morning and I had spent time in a place. It was like a very distinctive place for me, but I don't remember where it was. There are parts of it I remember. I remember that this couple I know, Maggie and Thomas, who recently had a baby. In my dream, I was looking at an Instagram post that Maggie posted about the baby. But that's it. That's all I remember is that that part of it. But I was so frustrated because I woke up and I was like, where was that place? So I appreciate that you're writing your dreams down. I have heard that doing that practice does help you remember the dreams longer in order to write them down too.
It's just odd. Like, I dreamt this week about a student's mother who'd passed away, and I'm like, I'm gonna write. Why did I dream that? Out of the blue. So
you want it for the record, so that when things happen, you're see, I told you. That's
exactly. Everything goes back to I told you so. So
I told you so, and no one's talking about.
Exactly. So that's my weekly wisdom. Journaling, meditation. We're both yawning here.
I think it's something to do with my congestion and talking.
It's been raining here every day this week. They canceled the ecology fair today because it was raining. So They moved it to Monday.
She wants to go to China Fun.
She wants to go to China Fun. If anybody knows the movie, DM us. So, just to reiterate, we have 2 of the divorce guidebooks out. We have 250 questions to ask divorce professionals.
Your support team.
I never remember the name of this book. Your support team.
Nope, that's not it either, by the way. Your divorce support team.
There you go. 250 questions.
Plus questions.
Right.
I didn't want to have to count it exactly.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it's more than that.
That is free as a PDF download and an ebook. Wow, my brain. Ebook download. And you do not have to put an email address in. You do not have to put a credit card. You can just go to freshstartsregistry.com and you can download the ebook and the PDF for free. And if you would like to buy like me, I like to have books. If you want to buy the printed book, you can go to Amazon and soon all the other places. And the second book out now is What to Consider When You're Considering Divorce, which Vivi, shout out to Vivi, she laughed because she messaged me the other day. She's like, I just realized this is because you said, because of what to expect when you're expecting.
Yeah.
And that is a really powerful book too that goes through a lot of everything you need to kind of think about before you're even considering. And it's really what I do. A lot of the questions I pose in my divorce resource consults and how we talk through things. And that is the same thing, free as an ebook and a PDF on the website. And then it's also available as a printed copy. And if you would like to cover the front of the book of any of these books, all you have to do is email us at hi@freshstartsregistry.com and we will send you free of charge a sticker that will cover the front of the title and the subtitle,
Yes.
right? So that nobody knows what you're reading. And the back of all of these books, all of our guidebooks, do not say the word divorce. So nobody will know that you are reading a divorce book, because that's how much we think about people when we are writing these. And so that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out the episode with Chloe. It was a wonderful episode of A Fresh Story. Also wanted to mention on Divorce Happens, we just hit 100 episodes. And
Amazing.
I talked to Kim Kardashian's divorce lawyer, which is really, really freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Laura Wasser, who's probably one of the most famous divorce lawyers ever.
Yeah, probably.
And she gave me, it's literally a 10-minute episode jam-packed with divorce advice. But what she said about sharing stuff on social media during your divorce is essential to listen to. So go over to Divorce Happens and listen to Laura Wasser's episode. The last episode of your podcast, Jenny Says So, was about what you do if friends change plans on you last minute.
Yep.
And the voiceover work was done by our soon-to-be sister-in-law, Bridget, which is very exciting. And Jenny Says So is an award-winning podcast, so go listen to that. What else? Oh, and then we have, what else do we have? We have our How Does She Do It All podcast, which we have 4 episodes up now. We have Adrienne Wright, Scarlett Longstreet, Leslie Grace Jader, and myself. And there's going to be a next batch coming up soon with some other great people. And again, these are not long podcasts. They're interesting. They're funny. They're informative. So if you have a drive, if you're sitting with your kids in a dark room, if you want to escape your family, go put these on. If you want to take a walk, these are just really fun podcasts to listen to.
I have one more question for you for the week.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I was going to say yes, because okay, so also, for those of you listening, this will hopefully be out today because I try to get them out the same day. But on June 1st, we're going to relaunch A Fresh Start to the Week as A Fresh Start to the Month. It's going to come out on the 1st of every month, and it's going to be similar format. There's going to be some meal ideas, affirmations, very uplifting, but we're going to be doing a lot more recommendations for things because we have a lot of friends who are doing great things. We have a lot of podcasts now. So in this spoiler alert for anybody that's going to get the email on June 1st, we have both been obsessed with this one song from Taj Mahal and Keb Mo's new collaborative album, which really I can't believe they waited this long to collab.
It is surprising, yeah.
Yeah, the song is called Room on the Porch. The album is called Room on the Porch. And it's just so awesome and beautiful. And it's so much our methodology about like, come on in. The food is hot. We're going to all hang out. It gives me chills to think about. So I've also been listening to a lot of JJ Heller still and her music and cover songs. I've been listening. I didn't even send this to you. I'm listening to a cover song of.
She's keeping so many secrets.
Sorry.
She's listening to songs and not telling me.
Hold on. It's a cover song of
Sorry for the dead air.
A playlist of It Must Have Been Love. Must have been love, but it's like
a
acoustic.
thing about Olivia is she will put all different versions of one song in a playlist and listen to it.
But it's like an acoustic
actually
folk
the
version.
dictionary definition of ADHD. I think.
I've also been listening to. You asked, I'm going to say. Somewhere Over the Rainbow, which I'm not really a huge Wizard of Oz fan, like movie wise. Like it's okay.
It doesn't do anything for me, really.
My son loves it.
I can see its benefits, right? But like,
I like the book. I mean, our dad read the books to me. I have a picture. I have a illustration of Ozma of Oz in my room because my name also starts with O. But the song Somewhere Over the Rainbow,
tenuous connection.
The song Somewhere Over the Rainbow, I don't know, it's just it's very motivational to me. So I have a bunch of covers of that.
There's apparently a version of that, of Judy Garland singing that while she's like, that was cut from the movie.
Oh.
That you should look up, where I haven't listened to it. I heard about it somewhere. Where that when she's like in the witches, like trapped in the witch, and it's very sad.
Oh, interesting.
And which I imagine it's like, have you ever heard her sing Come On Get Happy? And and Barbara Streisand's also singing Happy Days.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite collaborations.
Yeah.
It breaks my fucking heart every time.
Yeah, I was listening to Willie Nelson's version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow. So I have a whole playlist of rainbow songs.
Of course you do.
Okay, so what was your recommendation?
Okay, I have a couple of recommendations. One, I've been listening to a lot of Bonnie Raitt. I'm going to go see her in Edinburgh in, oh my God, so soon, in 10 days.
So jelly.
On Naima's birthday, first birthday. And so I've been listening to the set list from that because that's something I get really anxious. This is my recommendation for you guys. I get anxious that I'm not going to know the music that I'm going to the singers for because I I tend to like singers that have really big catalogs of music.
Mm.
So like Bob Dylan, I was obsessed with Bob Dylan when I was a teenager, and like Bob Dylan has so many songs. And so I've started Googling set lists, and then I'll go to Spotify and look up the set list. And it actually just gives me a lot of ease going to the concert because I kind of know what's coming. And I don't think that the excitement of a concert is not knowing what songs going to play next. I think it's getting to see them live. Like when I went to go see Nick Cave, like he pretty much did his album, which was great. Like, but I knew that because it was the Wild God tour.
I like him too.
Amazing concert. And he finished with Into My Arms, which was I saw.
Yeah, I listened to that this afternoon.
Yeah, it came up on my Spotify DJ. So I've been listening to a lot of Bonnie Raitt, who I adore. And then I've also been listening to music that I listened to in high school, which is a lot of fun. So much of the music I listened to in high school was because I found it on Kazaa. I don't even know like how.
Yeah.
Kazaa! So I've been listening to a lot of Bob Schneider. And then my recommendation, the other thing I've been listening to is a podcast that was recommended to me by Naima's mother, Melissa, which is called Articles of Interest, which is all about clothing. And I was just listening to I don't even know if they're really making the podcast anymore, but this one season, which is a couple of years old, that's called American Ivy. And it's all about this style that we sort of consider just American style, what we consider no style in America. And how it came to be and why it is. And they talked to like Jay Press's grandson, which the creator of the show was like, I never heard of Jay Press. I was like, oh, I guess we went to different schools. And they talked to Jeffrey Banks, who is a menswear designer.
Yeah.
But he's not Joss Banks, which is weird, right? There's another. Jeffrey Banks worked for Ralph Lauren, and he has lines called Jeffrey Banks, but it's not Joss A. Banks.
That's weird.
And they talk about Ralph Lauren a lot. What was interesting is I got to the end of the episode and I realized they talk about, so basically what happened was that like the Japanese imported this American style. Japanese got really into American vintage in like the 90s too. And so this American style sort of got exported to Japan and then came back to America as Uniqlo.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And so it's very complicated. It has a lot to like post-war and World War II and the GI Bill and going to college. But I got to the end of the episode and I was like, they never mentioned the Gap, which I thought was weird because like the Gap is to me like the most like no style, right? Like no, like it's just like
classic.
It's considered very like baseline. So it was great. It was a fascinating episode, especially if you were raised wearing Liberty of London smock dresses, which we were. So that was wonderful. That's my recommendation. And Sirens. Did I recommend Sirens?
No, not yet.
I'm not sure how I felt about the ending, but
I haven't started it. I've been watching Mary Tyler Moore.
Sirens was filmed at ComSat, so you're going to enjoy that.
I saved that for the weekend.
Mary Tyler Moore is amazing.
I really enjoyed Mike Birbiglia's new Netflix special too. The Good Life.
I love
very, very good.
I laughed. I got to watch that.
Till I cried. The
Maybe
second half, I would say this, it's all good, but the second half was significantly funnier than the first half. So,
well, his stuff it's not stand-up comedy. It's one-man shows.
Right. Because there's an emotional component too.
I saw him on Broadway doing The New Kid. Was that what it was called? When it was about having a baby.
Oh.
And they did this thing where at the point in the show where he kind of has the baby, I know you have to go. They dropped stuff from the ceiling and the stage was covered in baby stuff, like strollers and
that's cool.
Boppies and like things like that. And it was really cool because he then would go and like pull stuff out that was like represent. And I was like, how? I wanted to understand the choreography of that. That's cool. It was really, it was a great show. Yeah.
Well, another week heading towards summer. Thank you all for listening. Stay cool. Eat some ice cream sandwiches.
Stay fresh.
As we say, come for the chaos, stay for the gossip.
It's a fresh story, come and see. With Olivia and Jenny, be who you need to be. Honest voices, safe and strong. Come as you are, you belong. So take a breath, let's begin. You're not alone, we're here again.